Hey everybody, welcome to the first session of Demo Day. I'm Harriet, Partner Success Manager here at RevGenius. And to kick things off, I am so excited to introduce our first featured company, Airspeed. Please join me in welcoming Devang Agrawal, co-founder and CTO of Airspeed, who will walk us through the product. Take it away, Devang.
Thank you so much for the intro, Harriet. Super excited to be here, everyone, for RevGenius Demo Day and to show you our platform Airspeed and how to build agents with a brain. That's what I'm going to show you today. And so, what do I want? What? Why do we need agents to have a brain? That's the question we asked ourselves. And kind of just a quick background on myself. My name is Devang. I'm the co-founder and CTO here at Airspeed. Before this, I was training LLMs in the Gemini team at Google DeepMind. And then when we started Airspeed, we started thinking, what are the main issues with building GTM agents today? And one thing that we kept coming back to was uh, today's agents, they're flying blind. And the problem is not the agents, it's the fact that they don't really have a brain behind them. And what do we mean by that? We mean that the agents that are being run today, they're just acting on a surface level context and really shallow signals. They just don't understand what it means to be selling your product, to be why do people actually buy your product, why are people churning from your product, and what makes it a good sales process for you, what differentiates your best sellers from the rest of the sellers. And and all of that information, even if you were to be able to somehow encode it into an agent, which we see some people try these days, but it will be this static representation of what your sales process, your sales playbook looks like today. It would be static. There would be no feedback loops. You're not really learning from what's actually happening in the market, and you're not really updating your agents. And in today's world, I think we probably live in the craziest times where the entire competitive landscape is just changing every single day. If I think we've the market is just completely different week over week, and we need to make sure that our sales process reflects that, and the correct information is being incorporated into our sales processes. So how do we solve that? So at Airspeed, we said, how about we solve the intelligence layer first? So let's build the Airspeed commercial brain. So within the Airspeed commercial brain, we're building the self-learning intelligence layer that you don't have to keep it updated. It is connected to all of your customer-facing systems. So it has access to all of your calls, all of your emails, all of your communications, so then we combine the commercial brain with our own agent harness. So the unique thing about Airspeed is that we have both the commercial brain and intelligence layer along with the agent harness, which can act on that intelligence so that you can build agents that actually execute. Um, so and that's it. That's the end of the the slides part of my presentation. I just want to go and show you now how we can build a prospecting agent in under 10 minutes. And the agent that we will build won't be static. It would be powered by the commercial brain, which already knows everything about your product, and it will be able to use that to build the best the best sequences out there for your team, and you can trigger it based on internal signals like deal state changes, product usage patterns, or external signals like any intent signals you might find on the web, or just any custom triggers, really. So let's dive in. So just sharing my screen here. All right. So we start here on what we call the agent command center. And what this really is a centralized place where I can see all the agents that I'm running and all the agents that my team is running as well. So that, you always have this situation where you're like, I have people burning so many tokens on Claude Code or OpenClaw or something. But what are they actually running? You want to have a centralized place where everyone can see the agents that are being run for your company, and so that you can go and actually inspect them, and you don't have key person risk in the same way. And then, but what I'm really proud about is how user friendly we managed to make it. Right, building agents feels like this very thing. It feels like, oh, you would be in terminals and writing code or something. No, in Airspeed, it's like a super simple command center where we already give you lots of templates to start on that you could customize, or you could start from scratch. So let's start with the prospecting agent that we've already set up here. Within the prospecting agent, you can see that it's triggered by a deal state change. So every time a deal moves to closed one, this agent gets triggered. But you can set this up on anything that you want. And you can yeah. And what happens when the deal moves to close one? It triggers essentially this agent, which is able to go and orchestrate your entire GTM tech stack, right? So everything, the whole point of a agent harness is not that it can do everything, but it is able to orchestrate your entire GTM tech stack. So it can access Apollo, it can use whatever data sources that you need for contact information, can use whatever sequencing or software that you need to actually send emails, and then it can actually go and execute for you. So what does that look like? So here is one of the sample runs for it. So one of our deals, as soon as it moved into closed one, it triggered this, and what did it do? It looked at all the personas that were involved in buying our product, right? So it said, okay, it was revenue operations, it was CROs, it was head of sales, and then it analyzed from that deal and the rest of the commercial brain what made those people buy our platform. And then once it had all of that information, it crafted really detailed sequences for each one of those people, for each one of those personas. Then it used Apollo, which is the data tool that we use, to go in and find similar companies and find similar people at those similar companies. All the stuff that you would have to, that your reps would have to be doing manually, or to be done in an inconsistent way in your company, we would just go and do all of that for you, and the agent is just fully autonomously executing all of that. At the end of it all, it would go and it would create a sequence in outreach. And you can, and this is the part where you actually interact with your customers. So we give you the choice. So you can either run this agent fully autonomously, where it says it just goes and enrolls those people and starts sending them emails, or you can run this semi-autonomously, where it would create the sequence, but you go and you still confirm that you're happy to run this right now. And the results have been truly phenomenal. I think because all of these uh, sequencers are so hyper personalized, we are getting with companies that are actually very similar to the company that we are reaching out to. The conversion rates are just so much higher, and I will show you some stats and soon, but just the conversion rates are just so much higher as well, and we're built just generating so much pipeline for ourselves, but also for our customers using agents like this one. And but I don't want you to take away that Airspeed is just platform for outbound. We do an excellent job at top of funnel, but we can also help with strategic questions and middle of funnel use cases. So here is a CRO cockpit that we created in our agent, and again, it's super simple to create. We see the CROs creating this themselves without having to do a lot of back and forth with people. It's just super easy to create these agents in our platform. But if you're really strapped for time, we also have an incredible forward deployed engineering team, which is a combination of really talented engineers and really talented RevOps folks who are experts in our platform, who can come in and build all of these agents for you to be fully customized to your processes. And here, this is so what this agent is doing. It is answering the three biggest questions that we see from CROs all the time. So number one, which ones of my top deals are likely to slip this quarter? And it's not just looking at activity data or something, right? It can actually go analyze every single customer facing interaction and use that information to tell you which deals require immediate CRO attention, and we need to make sure that they get that attention so that the deal doesn't slip this quarter. Then the second biggest question we see is which of my top accounts are going to churn or have some high churn risk. And we've seen people try to do this in a lot of customer success platforms, but they don't paint a full picture, right? To really paint a full picture, we need to orchestrate your entire tech stack. So that means getting all of your conversational data, your product usage data, your ticketing data, and all of that getting created directly within Airspeed agents to tell you the complete picture here. So for instance, here you can see that one of the really large accounts, they are experiencing some product issues, and they've opened a lot of tickets, but it has not been helping them. And they have this critical meeting coming up with no data to go off. And it's really high concern, high risk for the CRO to get involved with immediately. And my favorite part personally is so next up, my favorite part personally is the competitive intelligence piece. So because as a product leader, like the landscape is just moving so fast, and it's just so important for me to understand week on week how my competition is doing, and not just from both quantitative and qualitative lens. So what does that mean, right? So it means that I want to know how many times a competitor is coming up in my calls, right? But I also need to know when it comes up, what are the relevant codes. So for instance, right, this is what I really loved, right? Like the kind of subtlety that these agents are able to pick up for us and for our customers is, like, one of their biggest competitors, right? They are pricing completely differently within mid-market and within enterprise, and they're being seen as being pricing themselves out at the large enterprise end, but having really aggressive pricing on SMB. That's the kind of critical information that as a CRO you need to know so that you can go and change your pricing and packaging to not start losing deals to this competitor. And yeah so that's and then, but also kind of that's with your main competitor, but with your smaller competitors you also need to know what's going on, because you don't want one of your kind of more agile, nimble competitors to just completely seize the initiative from you as well. Great. And I'll show you one final agent very quickly, because forecasting is very close to my heart, and what this agent is able to do is just completely phenomenal. And here, so we have this within Airspeed. Each deal that you have, we assign we assign a close one probability to it, and based on that probability, you can build a really accurate forecast. But wait, LLMs are just really bad at doing any sort of math. So, how can you actually trust them to do this for you? So, because of that, we gave LLMs the ability to write code, which we then execute in a really safe sandbox. So that they can actually do the correct maths. So here, what it did was it used the probabilities we assigned to them, and then it used that information to kind of say, based on the probability weighting, and this is not like all of your best case 20%, right? It's going to every deal, assigning a really calibrated probability to each one of them, and and then writing code to give you an aggregate number. So I will end here and just yes, and yes, for all RevGenius members, we're running a special promotion. So for 2 months, there's of free Airspeed, 2 months free trial of Airspeed. But also anyone who is listening to this webinar, we are happy to extend the offer to them as well. And thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Devang. That was Airspeed for you. And now it's time for Lucian next. See you all in the next session.
Thank you, Harriet.